Emily VanCamp has been on some of our favorite shows and movies since she was a teenager. As the actress is 35 years old now, you would think that we would know everything by now, but she is pretty private. So there are a lot of facts that aren't all that well known. Let's check some of them out. Which co-star did she marry? How did they hide an entire human? And more. Let's go. She is a dancer. For someone who is as incredibly talented in acting as Emily is, you would think that she has been focusing solely on acting her entire life. But in her early years, Emily followed another passion. She is trained in ballet. She started learning ballet from a very young age, and when she was 11, she decided that she wanted to become a professional dancer. Talk about ambition. At 11, my only plans for the future was which trees I would climb before my parents told me to get down. But Emily's parents saw her passion and allowed her to join a summer training program in Montreal. She must have been really good because at only 12, she was allowed to enroll in the École Supérieure de Ballet du Québec, a program that takes some of the most talented dancers from the country. It's also the place that trains the Le Grand Ballet Canadien. It seemed like her future was all planned out, but that isn't how things worked out, and eventually she left full-time dancing behind. She still has retained the grace and movement of a dancer, and there are some of her performances where this comes in very handy. She has said that her dance background helped her greatly with the big fight scenes she had in Revenge. She dated a Marvel guy. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Emily plays Sharon Carter, someone who plays a friend to Steve Rogers, Captain America himself. She's even portrayed as a possible love interest, but their love story is complicated because she is the great niece of Peggy Carter, the one woman who Cap has always loved, but who sadly aged while he was frozen. Like I said, complicated. But it seems it wasn't only Cap that Emily was romantically linked to. She was also linked to Star-Lord. In real life as teens, Emily dated Chris Pratt, who would later become one of the Guardians of the Galaxy. The couple met when both starred in the show Everwood, and they played brother and sister. A little on the weird side, but hey, it's not like they were really related. At the time, Pratt regularly joked in interviews that they knew how weird it was. They dated for a year and then went their separate ways. I must admit, for me, I would rather fictionally date Steve Rogers than date Chris Pratt in reality. She's great in both television and movies. Many actors will either stick with the longer format of playing in television series where you play the same character for years on end, or they like playing in films where you play the same character for a few months and then move on to the next project. There are obviously some exceptions, with many movie stars moving into limited series in the last few years. But in general, there aren't all that many that can effortlessly move between both formats. But Emily VanCamp sure can. She's pretty young, but she had some really incredible award-winning shows that were long-running. One of her first biggest roles came when she played Amy in Everwood, giving her first award show nominations. She then went on to Brothers and Sisters, but one of the biggest roles had to be her role as Emily Thorne, Amanda Clark in Revenge. The show kept us all guessing, and it was a massive hit with everyone talking about it. It really put her on the map. She then moved on to The Resident and the television series The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. At the same time, she was doing those shows and so much more. She was still doing movies too. She played in The Ring, in Captain America, and in Norris, just to name a few. And she's also played many different roles. She is really a talented actress who can really do anything she wants to. She is fluent in French. Born in Canada means that Emily VanCamp has been surrounded by French for her entire life. It might not be her first language, but when she studied ballet in Quebec, she had to live away from home, and she moved in with a French-Canadian family. Her time with the family improved her French, and she is fluent now. In fact, she has said that she feels most at home when she hears French. She's at the point now where she feels more comfortable speaking in French than speaking in English. She has 3 sisters. Talk about a lot of girls in one family. Emily comes from a family of all girls. She is one of 4 sisters. Her sisters are Kate, Allison, and Molly. Kate is also a dancer, but now she's a children's book author. In fact, it is her sister Katie that we have to thank for changing the course of Emily's life. She was visiting Katie on the set of the movie Ladies' Room when she got interested in acting. She had found her next passion, and just like with ballet, Emily was not afraid to work hard to reach her goals. She started taking acting classes over the weekend and quickly found an agent. She then started small by doing some commercials, but it wasn't long before she started to get small roles that got her recognized. She was only 15 when she had her first breakout role, all thanks to her sister and wanting to see her. Emily VanCamp has already had a really impressive career, and it seems like her personal life is going just as well. We will check out her husband and the big secret they managed to keep from fans for months. But first, please let me know, what is your all-time favorite role of Emily's? Share it in the comments and let us know. A whole lot of Emily. If you told us that you liked the time that she played a character named Emily, then you might want to narrow that down for us. She's had a character with her her own name many times. She was Emily in 4 different projects. She loves sports. With Emily's past in ballet, it seems like she would be someone who is more at home in the theater than next to some sport field. But it looks like her family gave her a well-balanced childhood. She has shared that she has played a lot of sports as a kid. She played hockey and is still a massive fan of the sport. For me, that is kind of mind-blowing. Not because she isn't athletic. I mean, you would have to be to stick with ballet and have to be super fit too. But hockey is far as you could get from ballet. It's one of the most vicious sports ever. Ballet is just beautiful, but both of them need massive amounts of stamina and endurance. In that way, it does make sense. But now Emily limits herself to watching her favorite team, the Montreal Canadiens, from the sidelines instead of getting involved in the game physically. She married a co-star. Chris Pratt wasn't the only co-star that she fell for. She starred in Revenge with Josh Bowman. In the show, her character Emily tricks his character, Daniel Grayson, to fall in love with her, but she is really out for revenge against his family, and she's using him to get back at his family for all the wrongs that they did in the past against her father. Of course, the characters then really fall in love, and things get complicated. They eventually get married in the show, but things go wrong from there too. In reality, Emily and Josh also fell in love, but their relationship seemed to take a much simpler and straighter path. The two started dating in the last part of 2011 and then got engaged in 2017. Eventually, in 2018, the two of them tied the knot in the Bahamas. The limited amount of pictures that we saw from the wedding was just stunning, and it seemed even more romantic than her television show wedding, and for sure much less lethal. They had a baby. These two are super private, and they don't share loads of their personal life with the public. Still, it came as a bit of a surprise when Emily announced in August of this year that the couple had a baby girl named Iris. We didn't even know that she was expecting a baby. It was a massive secret that they managed to keep from their fans. But if there was ever a time when it would be easier than normal to hide a pregnancy, then it would be now. The world is opening up a bit now, but no one is going to wonder if you still keep a low profile. Plus, the photos we could get of the time just showed Emily with baggy clothing, easily hiding her pregnancy. Emily VanCamp is a great actress, but pretty private. What would you love to know about her? Let us know. Thanks for watching.